Hey friends, happy Thursday. This is Miss Fields today coming to you with your reading lesson. Today is Thursday, April 23rd. We have almost made it through week 3 of our NTI, guys, and you all are doing great. So I just want to motivate you all and let you all know that you rock and to keep doing your best work like we know you can. So, our learning target for today is I am learning how to describe the connection between historical events and an informational text. Okay, so if you look here, I have a few words in my learning target circled in yellow because those are the important words that I want to remember as I am trying to achieve the learning target for today. So I have describe circled in yellow because we talked about that yesterday, and Miss Reynolds also talked about it with you earlier in the week that when we describe something, we are giving facts or details about something. Okay, so we want to remember when we're describing something, we're giving facts and details. Now, when I'm making a connection between something, that means I want to see how does one thing lead to another. Okay, think about it. Think about when we're at school, okay, and we are lining up to go in the hallway, or you're lining up from specials or whatever. You're getting in a line, right? And we all have you lined up typically in what we call order number because you all are usually assigned a number, and so when we say, all right, line up, you all already have that connection and knowledge. Oh, I need to line up in line order, okay, which means I need to line up. If I'm number 6, then I need to be between numbers 5 and number 7. Okay, so you all make that connection with each other when you line up because you are connecting by your order number as you line up. So connection just means how does one thing lead to another thing. And another word I have here is historical. So we're going to be talking about historical things today. And historical just means things that have happened in our past. So things that are history. When we've talked about our Black History Month and things like that. Okay, that was all things that are a part of history. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. So I am going to read this again, and I want you to read it with me this time. Okay, so get your finger in your mouth. Ready? I am learning how to describe the connection between historical events and an informational text. Very good, friends. Now, our success criteria for today. Remember, our success criteria simply means, okay, if I can do this by the end of today's lesson, then I am successful. Okay, so our success criteria for today is I am successful when I can describe the connections that happened during the American Civil War. Okay, let's read it again together. I am successful when I can describe the connections that happened during the American Civil War. Okay, notice how those words pop up again, friends. We are going to be describing things. Okay, we are also going to be making connections down here. And looks like our main topic is going to be about the American Civil War. Okay. So, today we have a model story. It is titled The History of Memphis, Tennessee. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Tennessee, but Miss Fields has, and I absolutely love Tennessee. If I could move there, I probably would. So, Tennessee is like one of my favorite states. And so that's what we are going to be talking about today. And we are going to be making those connections based on these questions that it's going to have us answer when we're done reading. So I just want you to get your finger ready and follow along with me as I read. Memphis is a city in Tennessee. Its history began thousands of years ago. It was settled by the Mississippian culture. The Mississippian culture was a Native American tribe. In 1541, the Europeans began exploring this area. Hernando de Soto was one of the first explorers to visit this area. Memphis became a city in 1819. The founders named the city after the ancient capital of Egypt. The land was fertile. Large plantations were built. These plantations used slaves to keep up with their demands. As a result, the city became a major trading center for cotton. In 1878 and 1879, a horrible disease called yellow fever spread through Memphis. Thousands of residents left the city. More than 500 people died. Because of this, the city became broke. The city eventually recovered. Memphis is thriving city today. Okay. Also, I want to bring your attention here. If you look over here, I love how it gave us this map here of the United States because it says Memphis is located where the dot is on the map. So if you see this little dot here, that is where Memphis is located, which is really, really cool. Okay. Also, I love how it gives this picture down here. This says this is a picture of a slave working on a cotton plantation. Okay. So it helps give us this visual of what was going on during these times. Okay. So our first question that we need to answer is which event caused Memphis to become a city? So it wants to know which one of these connects to why Memphis became a city? Let's see. Oh, here it says in 1541, the Europeans began exploring this area. And then if I come on down here, it says later that Memphis became a city in 1819. So people started exploring the area, and then that is when it officially, after all people were starting to explore it, it became a city, which is really cool. Okay, so our answer looks like our answer is correct. So our answer is A. Europeans began exploring the area. And notice too how this little sheet we have here is color coded. So it says that it wanted us to circle and or highlight our answer in the text in the color red. So notice how I have this highlighted red to match up with what it's wanting me to do here to help keep me organized. Okay. My next question, why were large plantations built? I don't know. Why were large plantations built? Let's see if we can find a connection to maybe why. The land was fertile. Large plantations were built. These plantations used slaves to keep up with their demands. As a result, the city became a major trading center for cotton. Let's see what our answer is down here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so large plantations were built because land was fertile. And if I go up here, okay, I've found my answer right here in the text. Okay, so there's that text evidence. Not only did I find that connection, but I can prove that by going back into the text. And guys, when it says fertile here, the land was fertile, that just means it's easier for things to grow there. Okay. So let's come over here to question number 3. Our question number 3 says, what caused Memphis to become a major trading center for cotton? I just remember seeing that somewhere over in this paragraph because if I read right here, it says, as a result, the city became a major trading center for cotton. And so these plantations used slaves to keep up with their demands. Oh, so they had slaves to help them out. So I bet that's the connection, okay? Because if they didn't have them, I don't think they would have been able to keep up with it. But I think because they had those slaves, they were able to keep up with the high demand. Let's check. Perfect. So our answer, Memphis became a major trading center because they used slaves on their plantations to produce large amounts of cotton, okay? Our answer clearly makes that connection, and we can also prove it from the text, okay? Remember, if you can't find your answer in the text, then there's probably a better answer out there for you to search for, okay? Our next question, what happened as a result of yellow fever? So we need to make a connection here of what happened as a result of yellow fever. And it says, notice how it says here, choose all that apply. Okay, so that means that I'm going to have more than one answer, right? So let's see if we says here, in 1878 and 1879, a horrible disease called yellow fever spread through Memphis. Thousands of residents left the city. More than 5,000 people died. Oh, that's one of my answers, so I bet that's the connection. Okay, wants to know what's the connection? What happens after the yellow fever happened? So more than 5,000 people died is what I'm going to say. And then it also says that thousands of residents left the city. So I'm going to go with those two as my answer. Let's double check ourselves. Perfect. So thousands of residents left. That's one answer. More than 5,000 people died is the second answer. So my answers are B and C. And again, I can prove those answers because I found them directly in the text, friends. Okay. And our last question, why did Memphis become broke? Well, I can bet you that all of these things that it talked about up here is probably the connection of what led to the city being broke today. Okay, let's see. Memphis became broke because yellow fever killed more than 5,000 people and caused thousands of people to leave Memphis. Perfect. Okay, so yes, it became broke, a city that was broke officially when the yellow fever broke out, and it caused a lot of people to die and be really sick and to leave the area. So then they had no people to help keep their community running. Okay, very good, guys, making those connections. Let's move right along. So here's your task for today, okay? You are going to be answering 3 questions, making those connections, okay, about the American Civil War, okay? So you should have this as a paper copy in front of you, but if you do not, that is A-okay. That is why we have it here for you. I am going to read it with you once. Our story today is very short and sweet, so that's a bonus, okay? But I'm going to read this to you, and then I want you to follow along, and then you can either read with me this time, but for sure, after I read it with you once, I want you to read it again before you do your assignment, okay? So that you can be exposed to the text 2 times. So, the American Civil War. The American Civil War was a war fought from 1861 to 1865. It took place in the United States. 7 Southern slave states, known as the Confederacy, wanted to separate from the United States. The states that stayed part of the United States were known as the Union, or the North. The war began because of slavery. After 4 years of fighting, over 600,000 soldiers died. As a result, the Confederacy collapsed and slavery was abolished. Okay. So, and remember, friends, when we see words like Confederacy here and Union and abolished, okay, that means that those words are super, super, super important. And if you don't know what they mean, okay, they have a really strong purpose to the text, right? And so if you're unsure of what they mean, remember, I mentioned this yesterday. We can turn back to the back of the book of what we call the glossary, and it's going to have those definitions and sometimes even pictures that go along with these words. But since we have just this passage, notice how it includes them here. So it tells us exactly what a confederacy is. If we are not sure, it says that a confederacy is Southern slave states, okay? Also a union. It tells us that a union are northern states. And then it also tells us what the word abolished means, which means when something ends, okay? So it means to end. So you have only 3 questions to answer today. Like I said, our task today is super short and sweet, so you all get a nice little break. And I have even went over question number 1 with you. So technically you only have 2 questions to answer today, friends. So don't forget to write this answer down, okay? So our first question today wanted to know what happened during the Civil War. Okay, what happened during the Civil War? So, luckily, okay, if it says what happened during the Civil War, and I know the passages about the Civil War, it's probably going to be talking about, kind of like what happened and what caused it towards the beginning of the story. And if you notice here, because it says red, okay, so I needed to highlight red, I've highlighted here my answer. And I'm able to not only justify my answer, but prove my answer from the text, right? Because I can show you here that I have highlighted it. 7 Southern slave states known as the Confederacy. Remember, we saw that word here, Southern slave states. It's exactly what it says here, Southern. Wanted to separate from the United States, okay? So that is my answer for number one. Okay, that is what happened. That is the connection of really what caused the entire blow up of the Civil War. Okay, and so that's the answer that you will write here. Now, your question number 2 and 3 are questions that you are going to answer on your own. Okay, I encourage you, if you have the paper copy in front of you, to get out an orange crayon and or marker or a yellow crayon and or marker and highlight your answer in the text, just like I did with my red crayon. Okay. All right, friends, I'm going to leave you to it. Good luck today. Don't forget, after you do your paper copy and watch this video, that you need to submit your answers onto GoFormative for today. All right. Happy learning, friends. Have a great day, and I will see you next week.